in Connecticut. So Norwalk is not alone in that regard. My focus today was on the regressive property tax and trying to do property tax reform for the state of Connecticut. I also talked about our ECS funding, which we all know has been a topic of discussion for many, many years, and is unfortunate that we get so little compared to some of the other states, when 51% of our students are eligible for free or reduced cost lunch, and maybe 9% or more are living at or below the level of poverty. All that's not factored into our ECS funding. I also focused on pilot program where we can't tax exempt property like hospitals, colleges, state-owned buildings. And we get about 27% back of what we should be taxing that piece of property. Where years ago it used to be, Mr. Hamilton, around 70, 75%. Now we're getting about 27% back. So the state of Connecticut needs to look at that and maybe give us more funding in the area of pilot. Also looking at more priority school funding. Norwalk is one of about 15 municipalities throughout the state that give priority school funding. So we're hoping to get more money in that regard. You know, the paving is not included in our operating budget. And I give Mayor Moshe a lot of credit. He's done his paving and done a good job, and I appreciate that. I paved a few streets myself. This year in the capital budget, we have, This year in the capital budget, we had, how much more, Mr. Hamilton, in the paving fund?
We went up to 5.5 million, I believe.
And plus sidewalks.
Plus $1 million for sidewalks.
Right. So we're increasing our sidewalk and paving fund significantly because we recognize that there are streets that are really, really bad, especially after the wicked 2 winters we've had, where we have potholes because of the water getting underneath and freezing and opening up the potholes. So we've got a lot of work to do, but we're putting the money in for that. Still, we're keeping budget down to the lowest budget in over 4 years. So I want to thank again Mr. Hamilton and Mr. Barron for the hard work they've done. I want to thank the department heads for saying we'll try to keep it at 2% in spite of the fact that we've had negotiated contracts that are 2% and greater. But they've really taken out their pencils and they've cut it to a good point. So I want to thank Mr. Hamilton, Mr. Barron, the department heads, and certainly the common council members who have worked so hard on the finance committee, in your caucuses to really discuss this and really vet it out so that people can hear about the budget, show what a good budget it is, and look around the state and see the budgets that are coming in. One of the mayors today at the meeting I was at, bringing in a budget of 4.5% increase. And he said, I don't know how I can bring in any less. So I think we're doing a pretty good job. So I'll call the vote. I imagine we want a roll call vote.